Hi, thanks for watching. Now, before I show you the map, I let it be known in conversations that I have an interest in old maps, and 2 weeks ago, within 2 days, I got a link to this map collection from both Hammer and Hank from Ohio and Josie from Florida. Cheers guys. Now, as there is obviously a lot of biblical references, I got my guidance in that department from Igor Rocha Ribeiro from Brazil. And there's a man that knows his Bible. Gracias, amigo. So, without further ado, pun intended, let's have a look at the map. This is the site of David on Mount Zion, but I'd like to show you another mountain that's on the map. And this got my attention because on top of the mountain there's a fountain, and I don't think, and this is outside the city limits, so I don't think they had the technology back then. I mean, bear in mind, this is pre-Christian. This is at a time when people were throwing buckets down a well to get water. So, not being an engineer, I done the next best thing, and I used one of my options, and I phoned a friend who is an engineer, and he agrees with me. So, give me your opinion on that. So we'll now go look over the map, and it's full of castles and palaces and stuff. They're all over the place. And they had the theatre, and the gymnasium. And I think this is the area where people lived. It's the quietest part of the whole map. And they had a circus. And this here, this is the marketplace. And they obviously done more than sell fruit. And this is James. So, is this James the Just? You know, just kneel down there and turn round. I don't know. So, first of all, we're down here to the city of David. And here we have, this is the focal point, that's what this means, and this is the palace of David, King of the Jews. And as you can see, it's on Mount Zion, and this is a royal garden with a fountain. And this whole section is full of, there's a tabernacle, Zion, and this is a tenement. These are living quarters, I think. And this is, well, this guy's a bit holy. And that was a thing back then. Well, that was a thing. Is this the political? I don't know. Because this here, here's another priest, and all the priests have fish head hats, and I don't know what's happening to this guy. That's the high priest or whatever, and he's also got a fountain. And here's a pyramid on the sepulchre for David, the King of the Jews. What else we got here? Alright, this is another fountain, obviously, but then I seen this, a double-headed eagle. I don't know when I first saw that referenced anywhere. Anyway, so, like I say, there's palaces all over the place. And another priest. And another fountain. Well, this guy's washing his feet. The Royal Terrace, whatever. And this is the Forest of Zion. So we'll go up to here. And this takes us up another hill. And I've done some translations, but there are some words that do not translate. Whether they don't get used no longer, I don't know. But this here, this is Hebrew, I think. And this is definitely an infant on an altar. Now, I was wondering why you would put an infant on an altar. And I've seen infants being circumcised on an altar. So, is that what this is? Because the next altar is a wee bit scary. It's another priest, and he's burning something on this altar. And there's a clue to the religion, and he's also got a fountain. They're everywhere. And this is a canteen. That's what that means. And this here, this is the royal seat, King's throne, call it what you will. But this is the altar to the Holocaust. And that means this was used way back, but for a different meaning. It is in Genesis 8:20, and I quote, "And Noah built an altar unto the Lord, and taking all the cattle and fowl that were clean, offered holocausts upon the altar." So, I think the word has been altered. What else we got? Right, this here, this is a guy getting stoned, and I don't mean in a good way. And there's Bibles everywhere. What else we got? Right, let's leave this side. I couldn't work out what this was. And I first thought, you know, like Petra, where they have monuments carved into the rock. I don't know. Here they have, they call it a cistern, lake, water, pool, pond. And if this is Jesus, it's early days, because there's only 9 sitting around him. And I'm wondering if Judas is sitting there. And this word here, this is like slavery road. And here's another town. And more violence. It's everywhere. And then there's more castles, and this is a column built for Peter. And this is a royal garden, and it's got a royal fountain. And there's more castles. And then when I've seen this, I thought Muslims or Turks or something. Then I seen this. This is Moloch. Now, this is a child, but don't be fooled. This guy ain't babysitting. This is an oven. Because Moloch was the Canaanite god who was associated. This is Moloch, and as you can see, it looks a bit scary. So I think they had to change their image, and they did. And now this is how Moloch is represented. And here is Moloch here, and there is the future President Ronald Reagan, and another future President, Richard Nixon. This was in 1967 in Bohemian Grove, and they were worshipping the owl statue of Moloch. And if you love money and you live in the States, well, this is you worshipping Moloch then, because it's on your dollar bill. Next, I saw these four musicians, and this guy's obviously praying, and I thought, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the list goes on. And if you want to know the rest of them, look at the 100 greatest albums of all time. So, further down the page here, we have this. Now this is a monument to Apollo. And how much do you think's changed since then? Not much, because this is also a monument to Apollo. Only had a facelift, just like the owl. So, the next image, you're just going to think, ouch. I don't know what Isaiah done, but that's got to hurt. And the thing is, they've got a sepulchre, they've got, this is like a family crypt or something. So I don't understand that. Here's the cave, I don't know what he's doing. And I don't know who this belongs to. And here are some Turks, I believe. and their day has not ended well, and more violence. So was this divine intervention? And there's another fountain. I can buy that because there's a river. That's a flow of water. More violence. And this is the cave of the apostles or something. It's the den of the apostles, because this is the cave of St. Peter. There's another fountain. And these are old aqueducts for, I don't know when. And then I was thinking, well, you've got these three guys here, and what are they thinking? And they're leaving via the West Gate. So, what's going through their minds? You know, like, see next year, let's go to the beach. This place is crazy. And there's another fountain with a river. And down the bottom here, yeah, found Judas. A bit late. Still. And I was thinking, this guy, although he's like got a lot of bad press, how would he have started Christianity if he had stayed sober and kept his mouth shut? How would they have started it then? Because without this guy, there would have been no crucifixion. Just a thought. And the Catholics among you will immediately recognise this as the Stations of the Cross. But before we get there, here we have Solomon being crowned by a priest. And this is Herod's camp. And here we have the Romans showing up. And the first thing they're doing is sending away the pagans. And here we have a king on his knees kissing the Pope's ring. That never took long. Another camp, sun worshippers. And what's with this? This is a snake pit. What the and more monuments and stuff all over the place. Now, we'll be down here. And this is an olive grove, so put that in your Bible. And I think this is Jesus appearing to the disciples kinda after he died. And I think this is him preaching to his elders. And here we have this guy who is distracting this guy, so this guy can stab him. Is that Julius Caesar? I don't know. I happened in Rome, not Jerusalem. Must be a lot of backstabbing. And this is a altar to Mary. So let's do the Stations of the Cross. Now, this is the palace of Pontius Pilate. I have no idea what's going on here. I can use my imagination. Now, what's going on here is Pontius Pilate, I think he was reluctant to sentence Jesus, and he made the choice, or they gave the choice to the people. And as an alternative, they offered up Barabbas. And Barabbas was a murderer and rapist. But he must have been a very popular murderer and rapist, because that's who the people chose. And had this happened in Scotland, Jesus would probably have walked, being found, not proven, with insufficient evidence. He'd have walked out of court, a free man. But Pilate never had that option. So we'll now do the Stations of the Cross. Number 1. Pilate condemns Jesus to die. Number 2. Jesus accepts the cross, I'm gathering reluctantly. Number 3. Jesus falls for the first time. And this is where he's supposed to meet his mother, but for some strange reason the artist has neglected to put that in. And unless this is his mother. And here we have number 5. Simon helps Jesus carry the cross. Up until which, number 6, Veronica wipes his face and gets his image on the cloth. And then Jesus falls for the second time. And number 8, Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem. And then number 9, he falls for a third time. Number 10, he gets stripped and put on the cross. Number 11, he's nailed to the cross. Number 12, he dies on the cross. And number 13, he's taken down from the cross. And number 14, he's put in his tomb. And 3 days later, he was gone. Just like Kaiser Sose. And here is an image of the resurrection. It's quite a bog standard image. But this is an image that was commissioned by the Vatican in 1970, and it took the artist Pericle Fazzini 7 years to create this monstrosity. And what he said he was portraying was a nuclear explosion, or shall I use the word Holocaust. It seems to get about these days. So, tell me this don't look a wee bit sinister. Come on. And this is in Pope Paul VI audience hall. What size is the hall? And what is this? Hi, thanks for watching. This is part 2. Part 1 was in March last year. I've been busy. So I'll show you the map. Then I'll ask my questions. Now this is the map itself. And there's lots of cool stuff on it. Like the local snake pit. And we have Stations of the Cross. And there's loads of weird stuff. But in this video I'm looking at the water system that they used. Cause like here's a fountain and it's got no visible water source near it. This one has a water source, but it's not above it, and that's the problem. Another one, but no water source. So, well, while we're here, right? This is Judas, right? So, is this the guy who is by default responsible for Christianity? Right. So, another fountain, and there's the other one. Right. Now, this fountain here, once it clears up, right, this fountain here is called the Dragon Fountain. Now, this map is based on ancient maps. So, why would they have a dragon fountain? Why would they have a dragon? And this is the fountain that I find the most interesting, because this is a fountain clearly on top of a mountain. So how does that work? Because with fountains, until the late 19th century, most fountains operated by gravity and needed a source of water higher than the fountain, such as a reservoir or aqueduct. Right, then Roman fountains. The Romans were able to make fountains jet water into the air by using the pressure of water flowing from a distant and higher source of water to create a hydraulic head, like that. Right. The medieval fountains were a copy of the Roman fountains. So, let's go to the Muslims. And the Persian rulers of the Middle Ages had elaborate water distribution systems and fountains in their palaces and gardens. Water was carried by a pipe into the palace from a source at a higher elevation. So, how did they do it back in the day? How did that work? And while I was looking at fountains, I was thinking about water. And I wonder how much technology they had way back. Look at the Palace of Versailles. Now, this place has got water everywhere. It's like a canal system surrounds it. Now, why would you need all this water? What was it getting used for? What was the ulterior motive? And the other thing about water in the Palace of Versailles, with all this water flowing everywhere, they had no toilets. None. And the strange thing about that is Louis XIV lived there. That's where he lived. And he actually moved his government there. Did nobody need the loo? Come on. What's that about? Another place surrounded by a water system is here, in Angkor Wat, in Cambodia. And that is the same. There's canals all around this temple. And I mean all around the temple. This is Angkor Wat, and it's surrounded by water, and this is the temple and another system, and it's all connected. And the strange thing about the canal system in Angkor Wat, it's just in recent times they've discovered the canal system in the jungle. And guess what? Just like here, they removed all the mud and it's working perfectly. And here's another palace, again surrounded by water. So, I was just wondering, is there or was there technology using water? I know this is a canal system, but what I'm pointing out is they knew how to use water better than we do. Well, thanks for watching. Please comment,